Hey, warriors. You're standing in the shower again. Water's hitting your back, steam rising around you, but you're somewhere else entirely. Staring at the tile, counting nothing, thinking everything. And when you finally snap back, the water's gone cold. 20 minutes passed, maybe 30. You're not even sure anymore. Time's doing this weird thing lately where it moves, but you don't. There's a coffee mug on your desk. You poured it yesterday morning, or was it the day before? It doesn't matter. You walk past it like it's invisible, like you're invisible, just going through rooms in your own life like a guest who doesn't quite belong there anymore. Your phone keeps lighting up. Someone texted, someone called, someone sent you a meme probably trying to make you laugh. You see it, you read it, but your thumbs just freeze. What would you even say? I'm good feels like a script you can't memorize anymore. And the truth? The truth is too heavy to type, too much to explain, too exhausting to unpack. So you don't reply, and the silence grows thicker. This is what losing hope actually looks like. It's not cinematic. There's no orchestra playing while you fall to your knees in the rain. It's quieter than that. Smaller, more ordinary. It's cold coffee and unreturned texts and showers that last too long. It's your alarm going off and you thinking, again, like you're tired of the sun itself. Days stack on top of each other now. Same shape, same weight, same emptiness wearing different dates. You used to have plans, dreams, that thing people call ambition. Now you're just trying to make it to Thursday, and you're not even sure why Thursday. It's just the next thing. The person you used to be feels like someone you knew in high school, someone you grew apart from, someone whose optimism and energy you remember vaguely, like a story someone told you once. That version of you who thought trying hard meant winning, who believed fairness existed, who assumed love and effort were enough. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He was saying that obstacles aren't blocking your path. They are your path. But nobody tells you how that feels when you're empty, when the obstacle is the voice in your own head saying, "What's the point?" It feels like standing in a dark room you can't find the door to, like watching yourself from outside your body, wondering who that person is and why they're still pretending. But listen to me. You clicked on this video. Some part of you hasn't quit. Some small, stubborn, exhausted part is still searching, still hoping that maybe there's something that'll make sense of this, make it bearable, make it worth it. You're not weak for feeling this way. You're human. You're not broken because hope feels impossible. You're in the middle of something that hasn't finished yet. And yeah, it looks like destruction. But sometimes what looks like death is transformation, tearing down what doesn't work, so something true can grow. This video isn't here to sell you positivity you don't believe. It's here to tell you the truth. You're still breathing. And anything that still breathes can rise again. Not today, maybe. Not tomorrow. But one stubborn breath at a time. If this is landing, hit that like button. Drop a comment. Even just, "I am still here, and my story isn't over." Subscribe because we're building a space for people who are surviving when survival is the hardest thing they've ever done. And don't skip any part of this. Every word is here because you need it. Number 1. The pain you feel is building something you can't see yet. When you're drowning in pain, everyone wants to know what you're learning from it, what it's teaching you, how it's making you stronger. And you want to scream because you're not learning anything except how much you can hurt. You're not getting stronger. You're getting destroyed, piece by piece. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." He wasn't minimizing pain. He was stating a fact. The event is one thing. What you build from it is another. Right now, you can't see what's being built because you're still in demolition. Everything you knew about yourself is being torn down. Your assumptions about how life works, your beliefs about fairness and effort, your identity as someone who had it together, all of it crumbling. And everyone's telling you it's for a reason, that there's a purpose. But what if there isn't? What if this is just what happened, random and brutal and unfair? Here's what's still true. You get to decide what you do with it. Not whether it happened, not whether it hurts, but whether you let it make you bitter or make you deeper, whether you let it close you off or break you open. The Japanese repair broken pottery with gold, kintsugi. The gold doesn't hide the cracks, it highlights them. It says, this broke, and that's part of its story now. But that doesn't happen immediately. First comes the breaking, then comes sitting with the pieces. Then comes the careful work of repair. You're in the sitting with the pieces phase. You're not supposed to be beautiful yet. You're not supposed to have it figured out. You're supposed to be exactly where you are, shattered, examining the pieces, trying to understand what just happened. But here's what's also happening. You're learning your own weight. You're discovering what you're actually made of when the performance stops. You're finding out which parts of your identity were real and which were costumes you wore to make others comfortable. Every time you get out of bed when you don't want to, you're building something. Every time you choose to eat when food tastes like nothing, you're building something. It doesn't feel like building. It feels like barely surviving. But surviving is building, when surviving is the hardest thing you can do. The person you're becoming won't be the same as who you were. There'll be someone who knows what it costs to keep going, someone who understands pain in their bones, someone who can sit with another person's darkness without trying to fix it, because they know what it's like to be there. You're collecting wisdom, depth, empathy, strength that's been tested in ways people with easy lives can't comprehend. You're becoming someone who doesn't take joy for granted, because you remember when joy seemed impossible. The pain you feel today is the foundation for who you'll be tomorrow. Not because pain is good, but because you're refusing to let it be meaningless. You're choosing to let it transform you instead of destroy you. And that choice? That's the beginning of everything. Leave this affirmation below. My pain is creating my power. Number 2. The people who left revealed what you couldn't see. You keep replaying it. The ones who walked away, the ones who said they'd always be there and then weren't, the ones who made you feel disposable. You think something is fundamentally wrong with you because if you were enough, they would have stayed. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." You're suffering from the story you're telling yourself about what their leaving means. That story says you're unlovable, unworthy, fundamentally flawed. But what if that story is wrong? Here's what you're missing. Their leaving wasn't the tragedy their staying would have been. Your body kills millions of cells every day. Apoptosis, not because they're diseased, because they've served their purpose and now they're in the way of what's trying to grow. If those cells refuse to die, you'd get sick. Death of the old is necessary for health of the new. The people who left were your apoptosis relationships that already served their purpose, but you couldn't see it yet. You were holding on to connections that had expired, because letting go felt like admitting you were wrong about them. Stop rewriting history to make them better than they were. Stop editing out the moments they made you feel small, the times they weren't there when you needed them, the ways they took more than they gave. You're mourning a version of them that mostly existed in your imagination, not who they actually were. Look at what happened when things got hard. Where were they? They revealed something you needed to know. They were there for the good version of you, the successful one, the happy one. But the real you, the struggling you, that version made them uncomfortable, so they left. And that's clarity. That's the universe doing you a favor, even though it feels like punishment. Imagine if you'd spent another 5 years investing in those relationships. Imagine building your whole support system around people who only show up when it's convenient. The emptiness you feel is actually space. Space that was occupied by the wrong people. Space that needed clearing so the right people could find you. The right people don't show up when your life is perfect. They show up now in the mess, in the uncertainty, in the version of you that has nothing to offer except raw, broken honesty. Those are the ones who matter. You're also discovering you're stronger alone than you thought. Every day you keep going without their validation proves you were never as dependent as you feared. There's a difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is feeling empty while attached to the ones who left. Solitude is making peace with your own company, learning you're enough by yourself. The people who left taught you how to stand alone. They taught you that some chapters end abruptly, without closure, and you have to live with the unfinished feeling. Most importantly, they taught you how to recognize the real ones when they show up, because now you know the difference. Stop waiting for them to come back. Stop checking if they're watching your life. Their absence is making room for your real life, for real connections, for people who don't need you to be perfect to decide you're worth knowing. Number 3, your failure wasn't a wrong turn, it was the path. You think you failed because you took the wrong road. You've mapped out all the ways you screwed up, all the alternate versions where you made better choices and ended up somewhere else. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The obstacle isn't blocking your path, it is your path. The thing you think you need to get around is what you need to go through. What if there was no right road? What if the idea that you should have figured it all out perfectly was the actual mistake? Mathematician Benoit Mandelbrot discovered fractals, patterns that look chaotic up closely but reveal perfect structure when you step back. He found them everywhere in nature. Your life is a fractal. What looks like failure right now is part of a pattern you can't see yet because you're too close. Every wrong turn taught you something you needed to know. Every mistake eliminated a path that wasn't meant for you. Every failure was the universe saying, "Not that way, but keep going." You wanted the straight line point A to point B. Clear directions, obvious progress. But life doesn't work like that for people who are supposed to do something real. Something that requires depth and understanding and empathy and strength. Think about what you learned from failing. You learned what you're actually capable of surviving. You learned which ideas had real foundation versus fantasy. You learned what you actually care about versus what you thought you were supposed to want. You learned who you are when the performance stops. The people with straight-line success, they're fragile. They've never been tested. They don't know what they're made of. They're one bad day from collapse because they've never developed the muscles you're building right now. Your failure eliminated paths that would have led to a life that looked good but felt empty. It saved you from climbing a ladder only to discover it was leaning against the wrong wall. But more than that, your failure made you real. Nobody connects with perfection. Nobody is inspired by someone who never struggled. The people who change lives have this in common. They failed hard enough to become humble,